Hello Blizzard fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between DivinitY and TatyGG on Terraform, the latter edition. This is a PvZ Legacy of the Void replay, which makes me really excited because this matchup is very fluid right now, which means you really don't know what to expect. And in the bottom right of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the red Protoss player DivinitY with a capital Y at the end, so it's like DivinitY? DivinitY! Emphasis, I don't know. In the top left of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the blue Zerg player TatyGG representing Cuck. I don't know what Cuck is. I'm sure they're amazing though. Alright, so PvZ on Terraform, the latter edition. It is a weird map with weird expansions where people can come behind your worker line and just kill them and you can't do anything about it because it's so frustrating. Base is so far away from your main. Look at this. Look how far this is from your main. Here's your main. So far away. And again, so far away. Really hard to take a third base here. Players kind of like to try to take this one, but again, you have to worry about the stuff from behind like that. A third base over here is okay, I suppose. 1 and this is 2 and this is 3. Or this is 2 and this is 3, depending on where you spawn. But I don't know. We're actually going for a, there we go, extractor into spawning pool. Again, this is what I like to do against Protoss. I just feel unsafe going 15 hatch. I feel like they're always going to cannon me out, even though that's not very likely. I guess at this point on the ladder, suppose depending on what level you're at, maybe at the lower levels it is more prevalent, but at the higher levels perhaps it is not. Maybe I should play more StarCraft and find out. Either way, the probe gets in here and scout things out, sees exactly what's going on with that spawning pool, sees the timing on the extractor, is definitely going to wall off with the cyber core because that is something you want to do. If you see this from a Zerg player, if you're Zerg, it means see this from a Zerg player, if you're Protoss, it means you're going to see lings. You're going to see speedlings. You're going to see them right at your darn near front door. Walling off is the answer. Here comes a Zealot, actually, not even worrying about getting an Adept. I'm not sure if DivinitY feels like they have time. Surprisingly enough, so worried about the sling pressure. But here we go. 6 lings are on the way. Speed is on the way as well. It's going to be a couple minutes before that pops out. That is a, what, 79-second research. So I guess a minute and a little bit there, but here comes the expansion now at 23 supply, 16 harvesters. So a little bit late on this hatchery against Protoss, but again, I think if we can prevent the Protoss from taking the natural, it might be good. So here we come, chasing this poor probe home. The probe is trying to juke as best it can and manages to juke around because the Zerglings don't be distracted too much of their main goal of getting here and killing this base, which is exactly what they're going to try to do. So here come the lings. I think they're not going to try to get up this ramp because, again, there is a Zealot. There's a Mothership Core. Run away, lings. There we go. Trying to get the DPS down on this Nexus. Are they going to be able to kill it? With some good micro, they might be able to do it, moving the wounded Zergling away. And, man, I don't know. It's going to be very, very close. They have it in the red, but Zerglings are dying left and right. The Mothership Core is up to 3 kills. Zerglings are dying, but more lings are streaming across the base here. This does not look good for the DivinitY whatsoever. Do force a cancel on that natural, taking down a probe as well. Can we get a pylon at the same time? Taty is making this mass ling attack actually work. I must say I am very surprised at the results here. The Mothership Core is racking up the kills up to 9. Wants to get 10, can't quite do it. Now here's the problem for TatyGG. You can't really get up this ramp with the Zealot here. Actually, is that Zergling tight? I'm going to be honest, I do not know, but here come the lings. This is how I like to play StarCraft. It doesn't work as much as I'd like it to. Just mass ling into like roaches or mutas or something at some point. Ooh, here comes a Stargate from DivinitY. This might be the answer that the Protoss player is looking for. Immediately retaking that Nexus, saying, you know what, I'm not worried about you, but maybe we should be, because here come the lings. They're making a break right for that ramp. No, stopping instead to take out these Zealots. The Zealots are going down. They're taking Zerglings with them, but not quite fast enough. Can they get up here? They're going to take down that probe? No, they're attacking Gateway. They're attacking Cybernetics Core. This pylon's going to hold them off, but the question is for how long? Mothership Core up to 11 kills. Still needs to keep attacking. I don't think these lings are getting through. I'm not sure if I agree with this decision by TatyGG. Oh, they might get through this pylon, though. It's going to be super close to see if they do. And yes, the pylon is going to fall. Mothership Core up to 18 kills, but the lings are inside the main base. And what are we doing? We have a Void Ray on the way. Are we chrono boosting it out? There we go. Photon Overcharge being used to take down these lings. Lings are getting splatted left and right. And is the ling harassment over? A couple more coming across the map here and trying to take down probes, trying to get through this little spot in the armor, little spot in the wall, taking down this probe, or this pylon. What are we doing? We're warping in a Zealot to deal with this. Again, not warping into Depths. We're using Zealots. I think we might actually save this pylon. Could it be super close, though? Yes, the pylon does survive with 36 hit points, and Bob the Zealot is hanging out here, just making sure that no more Zerglings can get on through. So, we're going to take a quick breath. We're going to ascertain the state of the game here. It's 29 Harvesters Divinity for 26 for TatyGG. So, as the Protoss player, you might be thinking to yourself, that was so terrible. That was so just terrifying. It caused me so much stress. But you know what? You have more workers. Okay, you had more workers than the Zerg player. You have a second base. The Zerg player has not been able to take a third because of so many and how many Lings they dedicated to that attack. How many Lings died? 28 Lings died. That could be so many drones that they don't have right now. They don't have a third base either. Toddy doesn't have enough money to actually make a third base, so the Protoss with a Void Ray in the air is going to be safe against Roach Harass as well. And there goes the third base now, but here it is, the 5-minute mark, which is kind of late in the Legacy of the Void meta. So here comes a probe, very brave, scouting on out. Again, what I like that Divinity did was throwing down that Nexus immediately after the first one died, saying, I can protect it. I know it probably didn't feel like they could protect it, but they did, and they could. And now it's being mined from with 15, 16 Harvesters, 41, 42 probes now for Divinity. A robo facility on the way. We have a Stargate warping in Void Rays, and these Lings aren't going to be able to do anything. Again, we are sending more Lings, more Roaches across the map, but with the number of Void Rays here, it's just not going to work very well, I don't think, for TatyGG. We'll have to wait and see, though. Again, 2 Void Rays is good. Another one is on the way. We're warping in. There we go. Sentries are going to help a lot. Stalkers are going to help a lot as well. So here comes a Roach Speedling push. Checking for a third base with one of these Lings, seeing there's not one. That makes the Zerg player very happy. And here we come with this aggression. We're not actually using any Legacy of the Void units. We don't see any Ravagers. We don't see any Lurkers at this point. So Toddy, I'm not sure what the plan is here. It's going to be a Ling Hydra push. I think Toddy saw these Void Rays and said, yikes, I'm not getting through there. I wasted a lot of larvae on these Lings and these Roaches. So what's the answer going to be? Obviously, the answer is going to be Hydralisks. So Toddy might be in a better position than we thought. A Stargate going Protoss is actually pretty susceptible to Roach Hydra. But with the presence of the Robo Facility and this Immortal here, that's going to help a lot against the Roaches. Not so well against the Hydralisks, but we'll have to see how this goes. Oh, Adepts actually did warp in here. I'm going to try to take down this hatchery. That is not what you're for, Adepts. Adepts, why? Oh boy. Adepts all get cleaned up by that Roach Hydra clump. I don't think they killed anything except a couple of the hit points on this hatchery. This forward pylon has not been used to great effect at this point. Again, Adepts. This is a service announcement from Falcon Paladin. If you have Adepts, use them to kill workers. Use them to kill Lings, I guess, if you have to. But they 2-shot workers, which is really nice. They can use Sonic Transfer to escape if you do end up being scared by a bunch of Roaches that show up. So, we'll have to see what's going to happen here next in the game. Divinity is up to 112 supply, 58 workers. Very, very strong economy right now for the Protoss. Probably wants to try and take a third base. That's what this probe is for. More Zealots come in immediately, just trying to snipe down this third base. Again, I don't agree with the choice. I think Dana had a daily about this a couple of years ago where he basically said, yeah, I mean, it's a huge risk reward using all of your units to try to snipe down a base of your opponent, but if you don't get it and you lose all of those units, you pretty much accomplished nothing. The base still exists. But if you use your army to kill units of your Zerg opponent or your Protoss opponent or your Terran opponent, that in the long run is going to help you snowball to victory better than trying to take down a hatchery, killing none of their army whatsoever, and now you're down like 6 Zealots that you could really use in the upcoming engagement. TatyGG just going hard on the Roach Hydras right now, getting Glial Reconstitution, getting the Groove Spines for the Hydras, getting 2 Evolution Chambers for those upgrades that are a little bit late, but that's going to be okay with all the Ling harassment in the early game. But here we come. Roach Hydra, there are a couple Immortals. They don't have any upgrades whatsoever at this point. +1 is on the way. I don't think it's going to be here in time for this attack. 3 cannons on the way, just trying to protect this third base as best the Protoss player can. Divinity might want to try to save this third. I think that's going to be the target of Toddy, but here we come. Yes, here come the Void Rays. Here come the Immortals. Are we going to warp in more units to try and save this? I don't know, but the Photon Cannon is very nicely placed. Very difficult for the Lings to get into and does force a retreat there. Roaches and Hydras are going to try to trap this army in. Here come the Lings from the backside. They get cleaned up very quickly, though. Roaches and Hydras, pretty good force fields, keeping a lot of these Hydras away. The Immortals going to town on these Roaches, making them explode. The Void Rays as well, trying to take care of these Hydras at the same time. It's not a very good fight for them. Sentries using their tickle cannons. Adepts trying to absorb damage as well, but Sentries are dying left and right. Adepts are dying left and right. Immortals are getting killed, but the Void Rays are mostly still alive. I say that as one explodes. But I think this attack is getting cleaned up. And yes, it is. There are a couple of roaches taking on workers over there on the third base, but they end up dead as well. Those roaches probably killed more workers than they should. 16 probes have died. I think most of them were pretty much here at this third base. Mothership Core respawns at the third. Needs that photon overcharge. Going to save up the energy to do that. But right now it's 3 base to 3 base. Small group of Zealots coming in. I think they're trying to finish off this hatchery. They might do it. Do they have +1? They do not have +1 quite yet. It's almost about to finish. And there we go. Again, going after this hatchery. And with the +1, it's going to be super close. Down to 200. Down. Oh, a transfuse comes down to keep it alive. And that's it. All of the Zealots get cleaned up. The hatchery is still here, albeit with 200 hit points. I don't know. Maybe that was a better decision for the Protoss player. Really hard to say. Warping in more and more Stalkers. 123 to 109 supply. TatyGG is in the lead right now. DivinitY... Not sure what DivinitY is up to be honest. We're actually getting a robotics bay. Are we going to try to go Colossus here? Most of the Protoss I've seen in Legacy of the Void is pretty much foregoing Colossus entirely because they're not that good. Their range was nerfed, and in the end it makes them a lot less effective than you would think for a giant robot that has 2 sweeping laser beams that comes out of its face. But either way, DivinitY is getting more Immortals, getting more Void Rays, getting plus armor upgrades as well. I don't know if there's enough income to really handle it. There are 70 probes, though. Alright, so there are 70 probes. DivinitY is spending well. I'm just not sure why the army isn't bigger than it is right now. Chrono Boost, do we need more gateways? Do we need more robo facilities? I don't know what it is, but here comes another Roach Hydra attack. Do we have upgrades yet? We do have +1 missile attack. And there's the Hydralisk Den morphing into a Lurker Den. So here we go. We're getting the extended thermal lance for the Colossus, but here comes the push. We're not waiting for those. The Lings leading the charge. There are 3 Immortals, though. 4 Immortals. That's a lot of Immortals. And here we come. Stalkers and good force fields coming down, keeping a lot of the army away. Roaches dying left and right, getting exploded, but the Hydra army is really big. Adepts getting melted immediately. More force fields trying to snipe things down. Reinforcing Zealots coming from the left side. This army is really under siege right now, trying to back on in to the support of these Stalkers. Stalkers don't do well against Roaches and Hydras either. Another Immortal goes down. They're not really using their barrier ability at this point. Trying to use Time Warp to slow things down. Yes, indeed we are. And are we going to win this battle? DivinitY. Whoa! DivinitY actually manages to survive another onslaught from the Zerg player. It's 95 to 96 supply. Very even at this point. The Zerg player has taken a 4th base right here. So again, moving into a macro play, I'm going to be honest, I thought the Protoss player might have been dead with that attack. There were a lot of Roaches, a lot of Hydras. DivinitY lost most of their army, but again, so did TatyGG. So TatyGG just really thrown everything they have at this Protoss player. Not quite able to crack through, but I think the answer might be Lurkers based on the composition that we have right now from DivinitY. We've kind of stopped entirely with the Void Ray production. We are getting Colossus. The extended thermal lance just finished. We'll have to see how they do. I mean, Colossus is better when protected by a lot of units. Here comes some Zealots warping in here to make a bit of a buffer for this Colossus. It still does, what, 13 damage, 2 attacks, 26 damage per swipe. The range is 8. Is it 8? It is 8. I thought it was 9 with the extended thermal lance. No, I guess it is 8, so never mind. Either way, the ball is looking pretty darn small right now for our Protoss player. Is this under attack again? I think we might have sent in more Zealots that I missed, but guess what? The base is still alive. There are a lot of Spine Crawlers here. A bunch of Lings came over to check what the fuss was, but they're a little bit too late. Observers scouting things out, saying, is there a base up here? No, there's not. Thank goodness. It's still just a 4-base Zerg against my 3 bases. Soon to be 4 bases, but again, the army just looks... It just looks small. I don't know what it is. Again, we're spending the money well. We have a lot of workers. We have 3 bases. We almost have 4 bases. I guess these guys are idle. Could probably put them to work somewhere else at this point. This is super oversaturated. That's a problem. I guess we're pretty much waiting on this 4th base to really get the income where it needs to be. Hallucinated Phoenix wasting his time trying to kill an Overlord, but it can't. You're just a silly Phoenix, you silly Phoenix. You should be scouting, not trying to kill Overlords. Look. No damage, still 200. Oh, gets in range of the Spore Crawler and ends up dead. Boosh. But here we come, another push with some Lings. But hey, guess what? There's a Colossus. Already has 2 kills. Gonna try to save this 4th base. Desperately running towards the 4th base. But these Lings, they have Nope, they don't have +1 attack. I thought they did. Never mind. Here comes a massive Roach Hydra army. They catch the Colossus out of position. Another 2 Colossus are here. They're trying to burn down Roaches and Hydras, but this base is dead. That's a huge blow for Divinity. Again, here we go, trying to snipe down bases instead of trying to engage the army. And it actually works a little bit for TatyGG, but the Colossus in the back are doing so much damage. 7 kills, 6 kills, but the protection is missing. There are lurkers here, and that's it. Divinity has left the game. TatyGG is victorious and still in the game, still killing stuff because it's fun to do that. But in the end, it was the Zerg player who did beat the Protoss player. And yeah, that's it. So this has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Blizzard upload. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you heard and what you saw today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. If you want to find me on social media networks, all /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself. We're going to let the Zerg army kind of go to work here, and we'll end the cast. Thanks again.